lot of the silvers grew up with money, right? Cash. Now they have to get used to things being done virtually. Many of them don't have the smarts, not interested, many of them, to do some of it. Some of them are interested but don't have the means to get the phones. As a thought, would something like giving silvers a phone be of use? Because that will at least give them the tool to access the digital plane.
Obviously, it is useful for those who cannot afford. But really, if you think of it, a lot of money is being handed out in terms of for assistance. At the end, individual will have to make their choices. You don't need an iPhone. In fact, intelligent phone that can access all this internet can be quite cheap. You don't need to have all that features. So it is not going to be prohibitive. The real question is, instead of the phone, is subscription to one of the telco. Maybe that is something that can be considered for subsidized rate for people of a certain age, because that enhance their communications for them, whether it's WhatsApp or whatever it is, to communicate with each other and so forth. That is an area I would say that is worth considering rather than the hardware in itself. The first question that strikes me is, do they even have Wi-Fi at home? And if you help them to have Wi-Fi, can they afford the utilities bill? So it is that the enabler part of it at the end of the day, I think, is critical. It's like no point giving someone a motorbike but not paying for the fuel. So they can always get a second-hand or older motorbike that is within their range, but how are they going to afford the fuel to get around? My concern is, if you look at seniors, you have those who are very old now, then the old and the new old. The abilities are very different. The very old health conditions with arthritis, I'm not so sure they can handle the keys or the phone well enough. Well, maybe one finger slowly and all that. I think we need to take those things into consideration. So there will always be that cohort that needs hand holding. So for example, we say we want to go digital all the way, whether it's at the hospital, clinics, polyclinics and so forth. But there will always be this cohort that still live their life and handle their day-to-day requirements through cash. And we cannot ignore them. And they must be catered for. In time to come, that problem will disappear because the next cohort, the old in itself, have the benefit of better education. They are more savvy with using IT. And of course, the new old itself is so used to using IT. But we must never forget those that are still around that really needs the hand-holding. There is a certain urgency for us as a nation to go digital. Then it ties up everything, access, information, services and so forth. And that cannot be delayed. The faster we do it, the more efficient we can serve the people who needs it. Like even for the seniors to find out, where can I go for this activity? I want to take up, I want to get involved with Zumba dancing, go on the internet and check. We shouldn't delay all this access because information is key. It's just that while we push it, we mustn't forget that cohort that needs hand-holding. So like a lot of things, even government is doing so much to help people in terms of various assistance. That cohort, firstly, are not comfortable accessing the internet, and even they do, they probably won't understand what is on the website, whether it's in Chinese, English, or whatever language, because many of them never had a chance to go to school. So they need to be handheld, but that shouldn't delay digitalization in itself.